Welcome to Point Blank, brought to you by Fitz Roofing. I'm Brandon Stranger Sports Map Houston. That's Joel Blank of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5's new midday show, The Killer Bees. Hey, Joel, welcome in. The Astros got an exciting victory against the Mariners on Tuesday with a come-from-behind walk-off at home, and that puts them firmly in the driver's seat in the division. But a little bit of cloud got hung over that victory in the postgame when Jake Odorizzi spoke with the media. He wasn't really happy about being pulled after the fifth. And this morning, James Click was on the flagship. He spoke about it, and he said, hey, that's the attitude we want. We want guys who want the ball. But this wasn't the first time that he has voiced his displeasure about the way he was used. So where do you fall on this? Do you respect the honesty and the sentiment that he's putting out there? Or do you think, hey, wrong place, wrong time?
Well, I think there's a lot to uncover here, Brandon. I think wrong place, wrong time. Your team just came off of a huge win that down the stretch maybe have catapulted them into, kind of just glide mode now where they can pad their leads and they don't have to worry so much about those last 6 to 9 games of the season against the A's and the Rays and teams like that. Now, maybe you can set your sights higher on the Rays. But as for Odorizzi, look, we knew his limitations. We knew that he was a 5-inning pitcher all year. The last time a pitcher for the Astros did something like this, his name's Mike Fiers, okay? And that was way before he became a tattletale. This was just the fact that he was never happy and he always was only worried about himself to be able to pick the wrong time to complain about what didn't go his way when all he had to do was pitch at a high level and this wouldn't be an issue. This is where I don't fault Dusty Baker. This is one where I look squarely at Jake Odorizzi going, look, your track record says you have been less than stellar. Your pitching performances show that you fall off a cliff after 5 innings. It doesn't matter what your pitch count is. And if you look at the game Tuesday night, what he did do was set himself up for another one of those innings where he started giving up multiple hits and base runners and got himself into trouble. Then when he looked like he was going to get out of it, he gave up a hit that ended up tying the score, and Dusty Baker basically didn't want to see anymore. Jake Odorizzi will be lucky to be on this playoff roster. And if he's on the playoff roster, he should be in the bullpen. And that's something he didn't want to do either. And I think that the first train out of here in the offseason will have Jake Odorizzi on it. If there's any team in the league that needs a veteran starting pitcher and they want to trade for him, the Astros should be willing to give him up in a heartbeat. They have all the young pitching under team control that they're ever going to need. They're going to fill up their rotation one way or another with guys that are young and talented and want to be here. And if he's going to continue to do this, even if Dusty Baker isn't here, I don't see Jake Odorizzi being on this team next year, and I'm not sure I see him on the playoff roster.
Well, it is interesting because it seems he does have value, at least through those first 2 times through the order. It's that third time through the order in which he is notorious for faulting during those times. And that, that's not unique to him. One interesting point that Josh Jordan brought up to my attention was that both time Odorizzi had these comments about when, how he was used in the game. First one was against it was that piggyback game with Lance McCullers, and Correa had the game-time home run. Altuve hit the grand slam walk-off. He complains that game about how he's used coming out of the bullpen. And then against the Mariners, Bregman had the game-tying home run, and then Correa had the walk-off. So read into that what you will, but it was just interesting that both games involved walk-off scenarios. I want to ask you something specifically about this because your experience is really unique in kind of how this can impact a team. But first, give us a word from Fitz Roofing.
Well, we love the people at Fitz Roofing. They're dedicated to the people of Houston. Therefore, if you've got a business or for your home, you got a roof repair and you're in need of some help, or you want to put a new roof on the building, they can take care of you every step of the way. And it starts with a free no obligation inspection. All you do is call 832-521-3001. They come to you, tell you what they can do and how much it's going to cost. And that's all free. You want them to come back, you just schedule the appointment before, during, and after the sale. They take care of you every step of the way. It's fitzroofing.com, but better yet, call them 832-521-3001. Fitz Roofing, making a difference, one home at a time.
Joel, you were with the Rockets for years, and you were around the team through a lot. And one of the things that kind of popped into my head, and it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but I thought of the Billy Spanulis incident where he was unhappy with his playing time with the team, and he's making comments openly to the media about it. Do comments, and again, I'm not trying to compare Billy Spanulis to Jake Odorizzi, but do comments like that have an impact on team chemistry? Does that, affect the team in somehow?
It does. It sends a wave through the locker room. And from a coaching staff and the head coach's perspective, they're going to be on one side of it going, look, if you would play better, you would get more opportunities to stay longer. In the case of Odorizzi or in the case of Spanulis, it was if you were playing at a certain level at practice every day or when we did put you in games, you'd probably have more opportunities. So you should look in the mirror. From a player perspective, there's always that bond first and foremost of that's my boy, that's my guy. I'm going to stand behind him and I'm going to back him and say, hey, I like that attitude because you want guys that want to be on the court. But quietly amongst the players too, they start talking and saying, look, we all see what the fans see, what the media sees. So I think if you're making that kind of comparison from an Odorizzi perspective, look, show me a couple of times that you can go 6, 7 innings, regardless of pitch count, because the pitch count was low Tuesday night, but the results were the same. Starting to teeter close to that 5th inning and into the late stages of the 4th inning, that's when I said the bolts are loose, the tread is low, and the wheels are starting to come off, Dusty. So you better get someone warmed up because we're reaching Odorizzi time. That's not something that's just said because of a one-time incident. That's because there's been a pattern all season long that tells you he can't do what he wants Dusty to let him do, and that's why I side with Dusty on this one.